Okay, let me just start off by saying, what have we just seen? It's going to be a really quick video because I just want to give my feedback and my recap, whatever the word should be, on the fight we just saw. What did I tell you? Didn't I say that Crawford would win this fight easily on points? I told you, didn't I say it? I definitely didn't say that. What a great fight. Crawford, amazing stuff. I definitely knew that Crawford was the better boxer. I said Crawford was the better boxer, but I also said that Canelo's weight, for me, would probably be the determining factor. And that wasn't the case. For me, Crawford, a better boxer, would be able to move around, switch hip, change angles, change positioning, southpaw, orthodox, all that. I thought that Canelo would be able to live with it. I thought that Canelo's chin would make it so that Crawford couldn't really put a dent in him. So it definitely wouldn't be a knockout. I thought that Canelo's weight, so therefore power, or weight and power, would be enough to put Crawford in a state of mind where he didn't want to take any risks. And Crawford didn't take any risks. He was smart, he was methodical, he was moving, he kept Canelo thinking, didn't let him set. But even when he was in range with Canelo, he was calm and his defense was amazing. Catching those hooks, definitely, they worked on those wide shots from Canelo because it was too comfortable. When Canelo was throwing them hooks in, bam, catching them and returning, and he was out of there. Amazing stuff by Crawford. Knew it was possible, but just for over 12 rounds, that added weight that he's not used to carrying, it might catch up on him. Plus taking punches from someone who hits quite hard and is naturally heavier, even though he probably does it in sparring, I thought that might be a factor. Obviously, it wasn't. I was scoring the fight as I watched it, and I gave Canelo 2 rounds, and I gave 1 even. That means that I gave Crawford 9 rounds. I didn't think it would happen that way. He was so comfortable. And even in the 9th round, when Crawford came out, he said, you know what? We're here. We're fighting. Most of the fight, he was moving left to right, spinning around the outside, switching a little bit, but mainly southpaw. But in round number 9, he said, right, I'm here. And they had it. And in the pocket, he was still catching shots and returning. I can't remember what round it was. It might have been at the end of the 9th or the 10th. And Canelo tried to touch gloves at the end of the round. And Crawford like, nope. He carried on about his business and went to his corner. But at that point, when Canelo tried to touch gloves, for me, that's when Canelo knew that, yeah, this is getting away from me now. Like, it's a struggle. Like, at that point, you knew maybe it's all over. There's a time in the 11th round as well, and I'm familiar with this as well. I think Crawford caught him with a jab, and he took a step back. He shook his head. And that was, for me, how am I just getting caught all this time and I'm not doing any damage? Like, that was his frustration. He just took a step back, shook his head like, this is ridiculous. And then came back in. He was struggling. It was much harder than I think that he thought it would be. I think he probably thought the weight would help him as well. Going into the fight, I did say in my last video, I want to see how they are in the lead up. And I recorded the last video on the Tuesday before the grand arrivals. And Crawford had a real confidence about himself. I said I might change my mind going into the fight. I didn't. I stayed with Canelo. And in the fight that I watched about an hour ago, I gave Canelo 2 rounds. Crawford is really, really the truth. He is. But then I listened to some of the commentary and some of the people speaking about the fight afterwards, saying that Canelo, he's on the decline, he's this. Is he really? They're now saying he's not the Canelo of old. This is true. He definitely isn't. But they're clutching at straws and they're criticizing him for little things that don't even make sense. Oh, he hits every punch too hard. He needs to mix it up. sometimes throw feints, sometimes throw light attacks, and then set up these hard shots. But when he was winning, Canelo doesn't throw feints. He throws hard shots. He doesn't need to throw any feints. That's why Canelo is Canelo. He punches with mean intentions every time. Which one is it? What's next? Does Canelo fight again? Does Crawford fight again? Do they need to fight again? Canelo's made too much money. He definitely doesn't need to fight again. Does Crawford? He's proved his point. Unified and undisputed in 3 weight categories in the 4-belt era. Does he need to fight again? When we talk about undisputed champions, do we still rate an undisputed champion if they only had 1 fight to become undisputed? So, like you might be fighting and you might have to pick up the WBO from there and the WBA from him and the IBO from him. Maybe not the IBO. IBF from him. The WBC, like you're collecting all these belts. Or you might get 2 from one and then whatever it might be. But if you just fight 1 undisputed champion, are we still rating it the same as if you had to fight 3 or 4 champions to collect all the belts? Doing it the hard way. 1 fight to become undisputed? Do we still look at it the same way? You still have beat the number 1 guy. So effectively, maybe. But just want to know your opinion. That being said, who's number 1 pound for pound now? They were saying in the lead up, whoever wins this fight is pound for pound number 1. Crawford won. They're saying now that Crawford is pound for pound number 1. Some people are throwing in Inouye's name between the two of them. Now, you move up 3 weight categories. I'm going to say he moved up 3 categories because he only had 1 fight at super welter before he moved up to super middle. Now, that's a big jump, and I thought that was going to be an issue, and that makes the win all the more impressive. But there are other guys that have moved up and had wins. Usyk, for example. How are we forgetting about Usyk? Usyk has beaten all the top guys. The next in line in his division, he's beaten. Let's have a look at all the other champions first of all. When Anthony Joshua was the number 1, the next in line champion during his reign didn't really have a next in line, did he? Really? Like he beat Charles Martin to become champion. We're not including that. No, we're not including that. He beat Klitschko, but no, we're not including that. And he beat Joseph Parker, but we're not including that. So I think the only fighter you could say that he fought that was the top level was Usyk. And I don't even know if you can include Usyk because at the time, he was just moving up from cruiserweight, had a couple of fights, and then boom, it was his turn to fight for the WBO. So I don't think you can actually say that Anthony Joshua fought a top fighter. Deontay Wilder, when he was at the top, he only fought 1 top fighter, Tyson Fury. And he lost to Tyson Fury 3 times. I'm saying he lost to Tyson Fury 3 times because really and truly, he lost 3 times. It wasn't a draw, we all know. So let's look at Tyson Fury. Well, he's fought 2 fighters at the top of the division. Deontay Wilder, who we all knew wasn't a good boxer, beat him 3 times. Again, saying it 3 times. And then Usyk, he lost to Usyk twice. You then got Dubois, who has fought 1 boxer at the top. You might want to say 2. You might want to include Anthony Joshua as a top boxer. If you do want to include Anthony Joshua as a top boxer, he beat him up. He beat him up. It was a beat up. It wasn't a victory, a boxing victory. He beat him up. He then fought Usyk as well, and he's lost to Usyk twice. The reason why I go through these boxers, because Usyk at the top of the tree, who has he fought of all the other top boxers in his division at heavyweight? Joshua. Beat him. Maybe it was a mistake. Beat him again. Dubois. Beat him. Maybe it was a mistake. Beat him again. Tyson Fury, who was the number 1. Beat him. beat him again. That's 3. The other boxers, 1, maybe 2. Usyk had the 3 top guys and beat them all twice. And he's moved up from cruiser to heavy. And when you're moving up 1 weight division from cruiser to heavyweight, it could be the same as moving up 5 weight divisions, because at heavyweight, it can be anything. So don't think we can not count Usyk as being the number 1. For me, Usyk is the number 1 pound for pound. A lot of people are now saying Crawford because of this win. I'm still going with Usyk, but what does Crawford do next? If he does continue to fight, does he fight at super middle? Does he drop back down? What does he do? Does he try and go up again? He could never try and do that, could he? That'd be crazy. But Crawford put on a masterclass. He was comfortable. He was composed. He bossed that fight. I got it wrong. I'll get it right next time.